Welcome to Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, inevitably, this happens to me all the time. It's 3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. I'm sitting in my office and the phone rings, and somebody wants something done and ready and delivered by Tuesday morning. Now, it's 3 o'clock Monday afternoon, and yet it's a rush job or an emergency job, something that has to get done right away. And I'm one for all about challenges, and I love to take on a challenge. And you know, for smaller projects, most likely, if you catch me at the right time, I'll be able to get it done that night and get it done for you. But this particular job is not quite going to happen. What we're going to be building here are a series of heavy-duty track drain grates. This is going to be for a concrete plant. There's going to be a lot of concrete trucks driving over this. There's going to be a series of 7 grates, 10 feet long. So I was able to rush down to my metal supply store and pick up enough material to build and design one of the track drain grates, and I think this is going to work out pretty good. But there's no way they're going to be able to get this done, or I'm going to be able to get it done for them the very next day. It's going to take me a couple days to do this. Pretty heavy duty. However, I've got my buddy John coming over here. John is a off-road chassis builder. He's a fabricator, and he's going to help me out doing a lot of the welding on this, and hopefully between he and I, we'll be able to bang this thing together and get it done so I can get these things delivered at least 2 days after the call. So let me bring you in and show you what material we're using. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to be using some 2x2 square tube, 3/16 of an inch thick, accompanied with this 5/8 by 2 inch, 8 inches long flat bar stock. There's 350 pieces right here. I think that's what we're going to need to make 7 sections right here. Pretty heavy duty stuff. I don't think there'll be any problem with trucks driving over this. Alright, so I gotta say I got a little bit of jump on this project before John got there. I'd already made one the night before, so I got a pretty good feel on how things were going to go together. John walked into the shop and wasn't there 1 minute before I threw a gun in his hand and just said, start welding on this end and I'll start on this end. And it just took him just a little bit of time to figure out how we're going to be getting things going along here. But it wasn't too long before we realized that, just a simple little mistake. The poor guy, he didn't have a chance to try to figure out how things were going. But his spacing was 1.5 inches. Mine's 2.5 inches. That's where we needed to be at 2.5 inches. But there's no problems there at all. We were able to take the Walter cut-off saw and just cut those tacks off and then correct the spacings, and we were back in it in just a few minutes. There was no big downtime there at all. So we're moving along right here, and one thing that I want to point out, and it's not really recommended here, is we're running 2 machines off of one 220 outlet here, and I was kind of worried about that. I didn't know how that was going to respond. I didn't know if we were going to pop the breaker. I know it's not recommended, but I thought, that's the worst thing that could happen is we could pop the breaker. So let's just go ahead with the 2 MIG machines, and we'll just tack these in, and maybe that's not going to draw enough amps to pop the breaker. So that's what we're doing right here. John's operating off the HTP ProPulse 200, and I'm on the 200 with EasySet, and we're just moving along right here. I'm having no issues, haven't popped a breaker, so I didn't really think about it, and we're both welding away, and everything seems to be fine. That was just the first test. And once we got the easy part of tacking this in, then it was going to be a little bit more difficult challenge because we're going to be switching to different machines with a lot more output, and I thought maybe the problem was really going to lie there. So right there, we're flipping it up, and now it's time to jump over. John's running dual shield flux core on the ProPulse 300, and I'm on the 2400 with the same dual shield flux core, and here we are. We're going from one end to the other, and I was just waiting any second for the breaker to blow, but it never did, and we just rolled right through it. And that I got to say that it sure went a lot faster when you get 2 guys going. There's a total of I counted them, 2,130 welds between all 7 of these grates, and that's a lot of welding, a lot of continuous welding, and I got to say it was a lot of fun gangbanging this thing here with John, and get things done a lot faster. I was a little concerned about warpage here, but everything stayed nice and straight. Now, this is the first time John's ever used dual shield flux cores. Of course, I stick him right in there with the 300 Propulse and the 45,000 dual shield flux core, and it's as smooth as it can possibly be. These welds are like butter. He caught on really fast, and really enjoyed this process. He's used to welding just maybe 95 thousandths on the round tube of the car chassis using standard MIG. So for him jumping up to this heavier material was something a little bit different than he's used to, but caught on really quick, and it was no problem. So we're just finishing up here, and John had came over and I had done the one, and this night here we were able to get 4 more done in one night, in about 4 hours, which was huge help. That left me with just 2 remaining, which I ended up getting the next day. And you can see by just jumping in there and both of us going at it, it sure worked out really good. So we learned a little bit here. Each and every one you do, you learn a little bit. And when we clamp these things together like this and then drop the slats in there, we found that banging these, we had to end up banging them in every single one. It was such a tight fit. So we ended up putting an 1/8 inch spacer in there and giving us a little bit of room. And once we got that done, then it was much more easier to drop those slats in, and it just got going a lot more faster at that point. There was no banging. Everything just drop them right in and weld them right up. So each one of these, as we were going along, we got faster and faster at it. But I got to say, each one faster and faster, but I'm getting more and more tired as the evening's going on. But we're just repeating the process right here. You can see that we've got 2 of them stacked up right there, and then the last one we're working on, the other one we put on the ground, just to the other side of the welding table, just to give us some room right there. But this is the last one that we're working on for the evening. I was worried about warpage on this. Like I said earlier, welding these things in, and just directing a lot of heat in one area at one time. I was concerned about these things warping, so we ended up just alternating the welds back and forth, and I come to find out that it really didn't make much difference at all, whether you just continually hit every single one or you jumped around. The grates stayed perfectly flat. There was no warping at all, and like I said, these things here are probably about 200 pounds a piece. But anyway, there's all 4 of them. 4 of them on the table, I should say anyway. 3 of them on the ground behind the table that you can't see. That was a great project. It was great working with John the Fabricator. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Check us out on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Check out the website, JIMBO'sGarage.com. See you next week.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.